Welcome to my classroom. This is the second and the final video of the series Existential Analysis of the poem Brotherhood, written by the Mexican poet Octavio Paz. As I said earlier, existentialism is the backbone of the poem. So it is very important for us to understand the philosophy first. So I request you all to get back to the first video, then come back to this one, otherwise you won't be able to understand the poem. Octavio Paz was a Mexican poet and diplomat. He was born on 31st March in 1914 and died on 19th April in 1998. He was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1990. His family was financially ruined by the Spanish Civil War. He grew up in a very strained financial and social circumstances. We should remember that he was born in 1914, the year in which the First World War began. He published his first book of poetry, Luna Silvestre, in 1933 at the age of 19. Now, he had been Mexico's ambassador to India from 1962 to 1968. The poem under discussion is a homage to Ptolemy. Why Ptolemy? I will get to the title of the poem, especially the Ptolemy part, at the end of the video. So stick around till the end of the video. Now the poem under discussion, Brotherhood, is a translated version of the original Mexican poem. The translation is done by Elliot Weinberger. Elliot Weinberger is an American writer, editor, and translator. This translation is a magnificent one. It's a huge success. Nothing is lost in this translation. So now get into the poem. Okay, now let's begin the poem. The first line is, I am a man, little do I last. The first line has two parts. I am a man, and the second part is, little do I last. So who is this I? I is not necessarily the poet. I symbolizes being for itself, the man who takes decisions in life, who makes choices in life, and who makes his own essence, his identity, who creates his own nature. So I am a man. I am the being for itself, right? And the second part is, little do I last. So man lasts little. Why? Because man gets changed with time. He has to take decisions in life. He has to make choices in life. And thus he proceeds into the futurity. So this change is inevitable because you have to take decisions. You have to make choice in life. And this is how we proceed into futurity. So this movement, this dynamism is an inevitable fact in our life. And as we change with time, as we change in course of time, we move forward to our final destination, that is death. This concept of death is a very important part of the philosophy called existentialism. And because of our changeability, we have to go to death. And this is how we move forward to death step by step. Because of our changeability, we are not fixed, we are not permanent. And we make our essence through our choices. And as we choose, as we take decision, we move forward. Where? Towards our final destination, towards our death. So death is inevitable since this process, making choices, taking decisions is inevitable. So this is what the line means, little do I last. Now get down to the second line, and the night is enormous. And the night is enormous. Night represents the night sky. it is vast, it is enormous. Now, the man who is a being for itself confronts a thing that is actually being in itself, that is the night sky, that is enormous, that is vast. So, a being for itself confronts a being in itself. The man looks at the sky, and when he looks at the sky, he becomes conscious of the sky. This consciousness comes out of the sky. It doesn't come from within, it comes out of the sky. That it is the sky, it is the vast sky, it is an enormous night sky. So this consciousness comes out of the sky, and with this consciousness, a new consciousness emerges in the mind of the man. That is, I am not the enormous night sky. So here comes the question of nihilism or negation. As I explained in my previous video, that negation or nihilism is an inevitable part of a man's life. We are always in the mode of a negation. We always separate ourselves from other things. So this is a mode of negation. I am a man, but it is an enormous night sky. I cannot be the sky because I am a being for itself, and the enormous night sky is the being in itself, which is fixed, which is permanent, which is eternal, because the vast night sky doesn't take any decision, doesn't make any choice, doesn't proceed into futurity. It just exists. It is neither born nor it will die. So I cannot be the sky. I am a man. I am a mortal being. All right. Because I have to proceed into the futurity. I have to move forward to my death. I am not a permanent entity like the vast, enormous night sky. So these two beings are altogether different from each other. I am the man being for itself, and it is the enormous night sky being in itself. So, and the night is enormous. There is a sense of contrast in this line. Actually, the contrast becomes very prominent in the third line, but in the second line also there is a sense of contrast. I am a man, little do I last, and the night is enormous. That means I am not the enormous night. Means I am not the enormous night sky. I cannot be the enormous night sky because I am a man. I am a mortal being. I was born to die. Death is inevitable in my case, but the sky will not die. This night sky, this enormous night sky will not die. It will be there forever and forever, but I will not be there forever. So I am a mortal being, I am a being for itself, and the night sky, the vast, enormous night sky is a being in itself. So these two beings are absolutely different from each other. So, and the night is enormous is very emphatic contrast. Okay, now the third line, but I look up. The third line begins with an emphatic but. But always signifies contrast or opposition. So, but I look up. Now, you see, the vast or enormous night sky and I are two different beings. But I look up. Still, I look up. Why? Because I discover something there. What is this discovery? It's a mysterious connection. So I look up. Still, we are not the same things. Still, I look up and I discover something, and the discovery is the connection. The fourth line is, the stars write. What do the stars write? The stars write our destiny. Now, it's a very interesting fact that these stars are not actually the stars. These stars symbolize innumerable, countless people. We write our own destiny, because we are being for itself. We take decisions in life, we make choices in life, and that is how we make our own essence. That is how we write our own destiny. So we are symbolized by these countless stars. The stars write. The stars are actually writing their destiny. So symbolically, we are writing our own destiny. And that is how we proceed into the futurity. We are propelled into the futurity. We have to move forward towards the final destination, as I explained earlier. So now, take an example. You see a poor man sitting under a tree, and there are two options for you now. You want to help him, and two options are there for you. Either ignore him or help him. Now, if you want to help him, you don't know the consequence, because you don't know the man. You don't know how to help, and you don't know anything about the consequence of your action. And this uncertainty about the consequence of an action leads you to anxiety, to tension, a fearful situation, a certain kind of hazy thoughts. And these thoughts, these anxiety, this tension, this question of trouble in life is one of the pillars of the philosophy existentialism. Still, we have to take the responsibility. You cannot escape it. You cannot be neutral, as I explained earlier, because if you are neutral, if you don't make any choice, if you don't take any decision, you cannot move forward. But we are here to move forward. We have to move forward, because we are not being in itself. Being in itself is a permanent, is a fixed thing. They don't change, but we have to change, because we have to write our own essence. We have to write our own destiny, like the stars. The stars actually symbolize people who write their own destiny. So we create our essence through our choice in life. This is represented by the action of writing of these stars. So this is the symbolical meaning of this line. But I look up, the stars write. The stars write what? The destiny of mankind. Actually, the stars are we. We write our own destiny. So we are symbolized by the stars. All right. We write our own destiny. We write our own essence. How? Through our choices. By taking decisions in life, because there is no way out. We have to make choices. We have to take decisions. This is inevitable. And that is why death is also inevitable, because when we take decisions, when we make choices in life out of lots of possibilities presented by life, we change ourselves. That is the essence. That is our identity. This changeability is our identity. Today I am this, tomorrow I will be something else. So this changeability is inevitable. This changeability is a must, and that is why we move forward. That is how we write our own destiny, like the stars. Okay, so this is the meaning of this line. But I look up, the stars write. Well, now the last 4 lines of the poem. Unknowing I understand, I too am written, and at this very moment someone spells me out. These are the last 4 lines of the poem, and these 4 lines represent a single concept. In the process of making choices out of a lot of possibilities presented by life itself, we affect one another. That is what we discussed in my previous video. Because we are beings for itself, and as a result of that, we are not fixed, we are not permanent, we are changeable. We take our own decisions, we make our own choices out of the possibilities given by life, and that is how we make our own essence. And in the process of making choices and taking decisions, we affect one another. In this respect, I gave you an example of the Jallianwala Bagh event in my previous video. Here is another example. Some unknown person decides to hack your debit card. You don't know the man, and the man doesn't know you. He just takes a decision to hack your debit card, and beyond your understanding, this connection is made. Okay, you don't know anything about this connection. Without your understanding, beyond your knowledge, your debit card is hacked. So someone takes a decision to hack your debit card and you are affected. The same thing happens with you. The same thing happens with everyone else. I take my decisions. I make my choices. That is how I write my own destiny. That is how I make my own essence. And in this process, I make your essence too. I write your destiny too. Because in this community, in this world, everyone is connected with one another. Alright? So unknowing I understand, I too am written. It is in the passive voice. Okay? So someone writes your destiny. You write someone's destiny. So we are connected. Now, the last two lines of the poem. And at this very moment, someone spells me out. This is already explained that when you make your choice, you don't know the consequence. And your choice, your decision might lead you to something good or something bad, might lead you to good fortune or might lead you to a misfortune, your destruction, devastation, anxiety, tension in life. So all these things might happen with you. So the real problems of life like tension, anxiety, misfortune, this factor of life is one of the most important pillars of existentialism. So at this very moment, someone spells me out. That means it is beyond your knowledge who is writing your destiny right at this moment. Okay, and it is also beyond the knowledge of the other man, on the other hand, that you are writing his destiny. Okay, so we write each other's destiny. So we are connected. That is what the title represents, brotherhood. That means we are connected with one another. Okay, so one point is very important here, that we cannot be neutral, we cannot be static, because stasis is not a quality of being for itself. Okay, we cannot be static, we must be dynamic. Dynamism is our quality. Dynamism is an inevitable quality of being for itself. That is why we have to move forward to our final destination. And in this process, we affect one another, and this connection in many cases is beyond our understanding, is beyond our knowledge, is beyond our consciousness. So at this very moment, someone spells me out. That means at this moment, perhaps you don't know, someone is writing your destiny through his choices, through his taking decisions in his own life. So we are connected with one another. Well, I think the significance of the title of the poem Brotherhood is clear to you by now. Brotherhood signifies a sense of togetherness. In this world, we affect one another. In this world, we live together. In the process of making choices and taking decisions, we affect one another. I take my decision, I make my choice, and in this way, I write your destiny, I make your essence too. In the same way, you make your essence, you take your own decisions, you make your own choices, and in the same way, you write my destiny, you make my essence too. So somehow we are connected, and in many cases, in most of the cases, this connection is beyond our knowledge, is beyond our consciousness. Okay, so the title Brotherhood signifies this togetherness. Alright, in fact, existentialism is opposite to solipsism. That means you cannot live alone in this world. We live together. You cannot be alone. You are destined to live together. All right, so we cannot live alone. This is the main point here. Now, why is Ptolemy? This poem is a homage to Claudius Ptolemy. Why? It's a very significant point here. Ptolemy was an Egyptian astronomer, mathematician, geographer of Greek descent who flourished in Alexandria during the 2nd century CE. Ptolemy believed that the celestial bodies like the sun, the moon, the stars have a strong effect on life on earth. So whatever be the distance between us, we are connected. That's the main thing. Again, here lies the question of this connection. And in his famous book, Almagest, which means the greatest, he proposed that the entire cosmic phenomenon can be mathematically interpreted. So it's a question of calculation, and calculation refers to connection. For an example, 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. So here, in this example, 2 and 3 and 5 all are connected with one another. Okay, so this connection is the significant concept of the philosophy existentialism. And the very title Brotherhood signifies this very connection among all the people living in the world. We are together, we are connected, we cannot live alone. So I hope the meaning of the poem is clear to you now. So see you with some new topic next time in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. Stay safe.